In our last session, we explored Hebrews. Our theme word was sacrifice, and the title, Our Great High Priest. By 60 AD, believers are under extreme persecution for their association with Jesus. Some are leaving the church and even going back to the synagogue. The writer of Hebrews encourages these believers by explaining that the law-abiding Jewish religion is obsolete. There is a new covenant. The time for the high priest to make animal sacrifices for atonement is over. Jesus is now our high priest, our mediator, and has offered his own blood for our sins. Christ's sacrifice is powerful. It's completely life-changing. Our sins are forgiven. Atonement is achieved. Although we may at times wonder and even doubt if God can really forgive us, we are forgiven. And the writer of Hebrews reminds us of all the Bible heroes that have gone before and kept the faith. In chapter 12, we read, "So then, let's also run the race that is laid out in front of us, since we have such a great cloud of witnesses surrounding us. Let's throw off any extra baggage, get rid of the sin that trips us up, and fix our eyes on Jesus, faith's pioneer and perfecter. He endured the cross, ignoring the shame, for the sake of the joy that was laid out in front of him, and sat down at the right side of God's throne." The mark of discipleship was disciples accept God's forgiveness. Today, we discuss the book of Revelation. Our theme word is victory, and our title, We Never Lose Hope.
Many people say one of the hardest books of the Bible for them to understand is the book of Revelation. That's not surprising, since in some ways it was supposed to be difficult to understand, written cryptically on purpose, so it would be hard to decipher. Much of Revelation is riddled with hidden meanings, so the rulers of Rome couldn't understand the symbolism within its pages. During the rule of the Roman Emperor Domitian from 90 to 96 AD, persecution of Christians was severe and cruel. Revelation was written as a letter of encouragement, urging faithful Christians in Asia Minor to hang on to their faith in the face of fear and suffering. John, the author of Revelation, had been exiled, sent away to remain imprisoned on the island of Patmos. He was a leader in the church, well known throughout Persia. While he writes of things to come, he also writes condemning the current evil empire. He writes to admonish 7 churches, criticizing their failures and telling them to stay the course in faithfulness amidst persecution. 7 is a number of completeness, and numbers are part of the message the original readers were meant to decipher. Numbers are part of the meaning of the book. 6 is evil, 7 is holy, 12 is the number of the tribes of Israel and the apostles, so 144,000 12 times 12 with 1,000 is a gathering of all God's followers, past and present, the perfected people of God. 666 was a number for pure evil, but also a code for the name of the emperor of that day. The numerical values of the letters in his name added up to that famous evil number we've heard so much about. Revelation conveys that there is a war going on between the good and evil forces of the universe. The current empire may be called Rome or Babylon or some other name, but there will always be those in the current age who will oppose the goodness of God. The vivid imagery of Revelation is powerful. Dragons, beasts, a harlot drunk on the blood of the saints. These characters often capture our imagination and dominate our conversation about this book. The focal point of our reading becomes demons, dragons, and dates. What are these strange characters, and when will these events come to pass? But the purpose of exposing evil in this book is to show that it is ultimately doomed, that good will conquer in the end. The very first verse of the book declares, "This is the revelation of the Christ. Our interest in this book, then, should revolve around the centrality of Christ, the Lamb on the throne, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, and the conquering actions of those who choose to worship him. In this way, Revelation is not so different in focus than any other book of our New Testament studies. This final book in the New Testament reminds us that God never promised it would be easy, but God did promise God would be with us, and declares again and again that good will triumph in the end.